Well, many of you may have seen this in the background of some of my videos. Currently been used as a lawn ornament, but I found out yesterday this is a 1928. I knew it was a McCormick Deering. I suspected it was a 1020, but I thought it could also be a W30 because I don't really know my farmhouse that well. But 1928, 1020. It was sitting in a shed since, I believe they said 1982 that shed was built. They drove it in there and it never moved since until I came along. The family, as often happens, older generation leaves us, younger generation, well, this old tractor's in the way. We got other stuff we want to put in the shed, so we're going to drag it out to the woods and leave it sit. I didn't want that to happen, so it came home with me. Even though I already have one, I just couldn't stand to see this thing rot away. So yesterday, very unexpectedly, we did some tinkering with this again. I brought it home last fall. Tractor Tom and I messed around with it for about an hour, just hand cranking it. We could not get spark, and we kind of mothballed it until whenever. I squirted some oil in the cylinders and covered the intake, filled the exhaust with steel wool just to keep the critters out, and hasn't been touched since. But I had some young gentlemen here. They were pretty enthusiastic about maybe owning this tractor since I've got two of them and I've been getting rid of some duplicates. So we very spur of the moment decided to belt up to it, spin it over, see if we could sand the points, get some spark out of it. Started looking at the fuel system, struggling to find a gasket or gasket material here of the correct thickness to be able to put the sediment ball back in. So I maybe am going to look through my collection today, see if I have any of these brackets that are a little bit longer or shorter that might work with these gaskets that we have. And because of that, we got a temporary fuel system here. Just as a rubber hose coming up, zip tied to the air intake. We just fill that hose with gas, and you'd have, I don't know, 30 seconds of runtime maybe. But the exhaust elbow I always found to be rather unique because it's certainly not meant for exhaust. So, the tractor always did crank over. I mean, I guess it was seized when I first looked at it, but I'm a fairly substantial individual, and as soon as I put my weight into this hand crank, it popped loose. So it spins over good. We did drain out the oil, change the oil yesterday, and clean the points, and we do have spark. So just a quick once over in case this tractor leaves my yard. Front tires are really nothing to get too excited about. They're probably old enough and stiff enough that you could run them the way they are, whether they hold air or not. Back tires are old, but they have pretty good tread. And they're not all terribly weather checked. And they match size and tread. So, I mean, the rubber on this machine is actually pretty decent. Sheet metal, not so much. Fenders are pretty schmucked. I mean, I would dare say probably what you would call average. We're missing this side shield here. I could have had one earlier this spring, but the swap meet I was at, I had to park like 1.5 miles away. I didn't feel like carrying that around with me the rest of the swap meet and then another 1.5 miles back to the car, so I didn't pick it up. Now I'm kind of kicking myself. But this tractor does not have a PTO. If you're familiar with these, you'll understand it's a right side clutch and a left side hand brake. But I don't know, they were looking through the toolbox. What all the goodies might be in there. The standard spark plug and wire and ceramic fencing insulators. Pretty much the usual stuff that you'd see in an old toolbox. The tractor, other than that missing side shield, is complete. It's on factory steel originally, been cut off and welded onto a rim for rubber. I'd be curious to know if anybody out there knows the origin, why Goodyear would use what I assume to be the Confederate flag. Did they have a tire factory down in the south somewhere? That's my logical assumption, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not the Confederate flag, but I don't know what else it would be. It just looks, it's always looked that way to me. So, yeah, we did end up unbolting the entire hood assembly. I was told that's the original, or an original mag for this tractor. Whether it's the original one to this tractor, I do not know. And here's our serial number tag. I didn't check it. The kids that were here yesterday checked it, and they looked it up and said it's 1928. I'm willing to take their word for it. And we also got the cap loose for the starting tank. Granted, I don't know that I ever tried. So, other than that, I'm kind of excited, just simply because I'm hoping that this young gentleman who is really enthusiastic about old tractors will be able to give this tractor a lot more attention than me, and a lot sooner than me. So it's not that common to see people of his age interested in this stuff anymore. So I'm pretty tickled at the prospect of this potentially having a new home with a very caring individual for these old pieces of iron. But in the meantime, that's kind of the background on this. I'll throw in some footage of us yesterday belting up to it, and you'll see we didn't get it quite to perfection, but we've established it's going to run again, and it's going to be a running driving machine, and it's not going to be all that long. So
let me get all this stuff out of the way.
nope.
Is that thing out of gas or?
It shouldn't be. I guess we'll find out.
No. No, I don't think it is. Let me throw up the line again. Keep running! No, you don't. Come on. So much oil came out.
Well, probably because I sprayed it in the cylinder.
Yeah. It was running though, briefly. You heard it
Briefly, yeah.
on one cylinder.
Not gonna overheat.
Hold on.
It is here, but
Let's take a look at those plugs. Make sure they're not foul.
I mean, you saw it, but who's running?
yeah, sort, yeah.
Yeah, you could call that running.
You have a hard time driving it much that way, but it was running.
Yeah. It ran.
You know, it's entirely possible we got some valves that are a little sticky there too.
Yeah. You're gonna have to send me that video of it, this smoke, roaring smoke, and oh.
Smell.
And I poured a little bit in there. Squirted a little bit. Oh, there she goes. You feed the fire. Hold on. Oh.
It'll go out. Everything's made out of cast iron. You can't hurt it too much.
Take long.
I mean, you know that it shoots fireballs? Alright, go for it whenever.
just had to check.
It moved! Briefly. You put it in gear and it...
I mean, it should. They drove it into the shed.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
This one is way out of adjustment.
This one here is
Christ almighty.
That's actually what you're running on.
That's why it was
running
running.
on these two right here.
These two are the only ones that are in adjustment. These two are way out of whack. That's why this thing doesn't want to run, is because these aren't working correctly. I mean, look at this. Look at it. This is unacceptable. These are way out of tune.
I'm a little tiny comfortable with this. Think we have a beer about it? Oh, I should probably call it here soon.
I don't even have any feeler gauges.
I do.
I got a whole bunch of them.
There's one that's like almost in inch.
I mean, Aaron, you gotta see this.
You got,
It's like a half an inch. It's almost it's
yeah.
like a quarter of an inch.
that would explain why it's not firing on that cylinder.
Or
Is it just seized on there?
Just a little bit. Oh, I wonder how we're gonna get that.